There's a cliche in the corporate world. Corporate executives say, I know half of my advertising works and half doesn't. I just don't know which half.
As we all know, Henry, there are many funding challenges in running a classical music organization. How did you find solutions to overcome them?
I'm still trying to find solutions to overcome them. You have to start with the basic. Classical music, art music, whatever you want to call it, is not going to pay for itself without some kind of support. In much of the world, that comes from the government. In the United States, it comes from corporations and foundations, but mostly individuals who care and who choose to contribute. So what I've tried to do in my entire career is figure out what donors find appealing about both your mission, but also about their identification with the institution that you're in charge of. The term for fundraising, it's a funny term. We don't call it fundraising, we call it development. And what that actually means is the development of a relationship between the donor and the organization, and finding out what specific the individual donor might be looking for, which is going to be different from donor to donor, and trying to provide that without violating your mission. Let me ask you a little bit about promotion. It's an area you and I both deal with in different ways. What sort of marketing efforts have you found to be the most effective in terms of promoting the recordings that you produce?
As I mentioned, the mission of the label is to promote these artists. So our marketing, while of course we are interested in boosting album sales, that is not the sole purpose of our marketing. It's really to get these artists noticed. So we will do marketing that will not necessarily recoup in sales what we're putting out there. The idea is to give these artists visibility. For example, we have for many, many years now owned the back cover of Fanfare magazine, the premier record reviewing publication in the United States, and that's really good exposure for artists. We do web banners on various sites. We work a lot with our distributors, both here in the United States and abroad, to identify ways to promote the artists, running ads. Sometimes, for example, we've advertised in British magazines around the Pacifica Quartet, for example, when they came out with their Shostakovich cycle. We timed our ads for the recording to coincide with their UK concerts of those pieces, so that we're really benefiting the artists as much as possible. What really helps, though, is when the artists themselves are invested in the marketing. I should mention the other side of our marketing is PR. We've had a publicist who's been full-time, Nat Silverman, with the label since day one, and really getting that out to media and getting the kind of reviews that these artists can then point to and use to say to presenters and promoters and managers, hey, I've got a real reputation here. Well, when the artists themselves are invested in that as well and are doing their own efforts, many of the artists we work with, some of the marquee artists like Rachel Barden-Pine, Jennifer Coe, Eighth Blackbird, Pacifica Quartet, have their own PR agencies, and we'll work in tandem with them. It also helps in these days with social media if the artists are promoting themselves on social media, and we can retweet each other's posts and go back and forth and create buzz. And again, a lot of those artists I mentioned are also very social media savvy.